Just another job. I've never been picky about where I work. Growing up, I learned that when bills need paying, you take whatever comes your way. That's how I ended up taking a night security job at an old building downtown. The ad was taped to a pole near the station, crumpled paper, tape barely holding it up. It said, "Night shift. Quiet environment. No experience needed." I thought, that's it. I showed up 2 days later, just before 10 p.m. The building was strange. Not exactly ugly or abandoned, but there was something still about it. Like no one really lived there. The kind of place that swallows sound, where even your own footsteps feel wrong. And it had this smell. Not bad, but it reminded me of a closed-down hospital. Too sterile to be truly clean. I was met by a man who looked more tired than old. He barely lifted his head as he handed me a folded piece of paper. He said, "These are the instructions for night workers. You'll find them weird, but just follow them. No need to understand. Just do it." Then he went back to scribbling in a worn notebook. I read the rules right there, standing with my backpack still on. That's when things started getting weird. Don't look out the windows for more than 1 minute. If you hear footsteps in the hallway, pretend you're asleep. Never answer the phone between midnight and 1 a.m. Avoid using the elevator from 3 to 4 a.m. Don't touch objects that seem out of place. Don't enter the bathroom between 2 and 3 a.m. If you hear a door banging at the end of the hallway, stomp your foot once. That's it. I laughed. Inside. Because if I'd laughed out loud, the guy might have fired me. But what I should have done was exactly that. Walked away. The shift started at 11 p.m. and ended at 7 in the morning. Dead hours, the manager said. "You won't see much. The building's quiet," he said, dry as always. But the calm there felt off. On my first night, I arrived a few minutes early. The previous guard waited for me in the lobby, backpack on, silent. Just looked at me and handed over the keys to the security booth like it was a sentence. I asked if he had any tips, anything about the residents. He said one thing: follow the rules. The booth was small. Thick glass looked out onto the sidewalk. Inside, there was a chair, a small table with an old corded phone, and a folder with yellowed papers I didn't dare open. There was also a computer screen, an ancient one that made noises when it powered up. It showed black and white images, one camera at a time, switching every few seconds. Nothing modern. I spent the first minutes exploring the lobby. Everything felt frozen. The walls were a dirty beige, probably once white. The hallway pictures were dull landscapes, and the worn carpet slightly sank underfoot. But what bothered me most was the silence. Heavy silence. Like the whole building was holding its breath. I went up a floor just to check it out. The hallway lights flickered, as if wanting to go out for good. At the end, a door was slightly open, but I didn't hear anything. Still, I hurried back to the booth with no clear reason why. That first night, I tried to follow every rule on that paper. I avoided staring out the windows for too long, even though I didn't understand why. When I heard footsteps in the hallway, I pretended to doze off, resting my head on the desk. The sound stopped after a few seconds. Maybe it was my imagination. Maybe not. At 12:07 a.m., the phone rang. That sharp chime that slices through the air. I didn't answer. My hand moved toward it, then pulled back, remembering the warning. The ringing lasted about 10 seconds. Then, silence again. At 2 a.m., the urge to use the bathroom hit me hard. I stared at the clock until it read 2:59. I got up, headed to the lobby bathroom, but before opening the door, I felt a strange chill. Not a temperature thing, something deeper inside. I turned back and held on a bit longer. Back at the booth, I stared at the monitors. Lobby cam, elevator cam, 7th floor cam. Nothing unusual. But with every camera switch, I felt like someone had just stepped out of the frame. Always one step ahead of me. At the end of the shift, the same tired-looking manager showed up. He asked if everything was all right. I said yes. He didn't ask more. Just grabbed the folder, wrote something, and let me go. On the way home, I thought about quitting. Not out of fear, but that uneasy feeling in your gut when you sense something's about to go wrong. But I needed the money. Nothing had really happened yet. Not yet. The second night, the building felt different. Not in how it looked, but in presence. Like it was watching me. Sounds crazy, I know. But that's exactly how it felt. As if it was waiting for me to slip up. I arrived on time. Went straight in. The other guard wasn't there. The key sat on the booth table. Monitor on. No note. No warning. Nothing. The first hour passed quietly. I flipped through an old book I'd brought, but my attention kept drifting to the sounds outside. A light clicking. A soft creak. Nothing alarming, but like the night was trying to talk to me. At 12:14 a.m., the phone rang. 3 rings. Stopped. Then, the intercom buzzed. Higher pitched. More insistent. I froze, staring at it. The rule was clear. Don't answer between midnight and 1. But what if someone was having an emergency? The ringing stopped on its own. I took a deep breath, turned my chair away from the phone to resist temptation. At 2:45 a.m., the bathroom urge hit again. This time, I was sure I could wait it out. I stood at the door, watching the red digits. 2:46, 2:48, 2:51. At 2:53, I heard a noise inside. Like a faucet dripping, but faster. Ping, ping, ping. Then a metallic sound. Like a trash can lid scraping the floor. I thought about opening the door to check, but remembered the rule and pulled back. I closed the booth door and sat in silence, hand shaking slightly, staring into the dark window. That's when I saw it. A figure standing outside. Not in the reflection outside. Someone was standing there, staring at the booth. The silhouette didn't move. Not tall. Not short. No face visible. Just a shape. I got up slowly, trying not to make a sound. The figure didn't move. But when I got closer to the window, it was gone. I looked at the reflection, and my heart almost stopped. I wasn't there. The glass showed an empty chair, the wall behind, but no me. I stepped back, blinked. The reflection returned. I don't know how long I stood there. I just remember sitting back down, trying to make sense of it. I wanted to rationalize, say it was the glass, the light hitting it weird, fatigue. But deep down, I knew something was wrong in that place. At 3 a.m., the elevator went down by itself to the lobby. Doors opened. The panel read 0, but no one came out. I stared, waiting to see something. Nothing. Doors slowly closed. The sound was like a long whisper, then silence again. The last thing that happened that night was a door banging at the end of the lobby hallway. Dry, like someone left a window open. I stood to check, but remembered the rule. If you hear a door banging at the end of the hallway, stomp your foot once. That's it. I stomped. Once. The banging stopped. At 7, the sun was just starting to rise, but the sky was still gray. I packed up quietly. Didn't say a word to the manager. Didn't want to seem crazy. But that night changed something in me. It wasn't just a security job anymore. It was something else. And for the first time, I wondered if anyone else had lived what I was starting to live. The third night, I showed up different. No more pretending it was just an old building. The feeling of being watched was stronger, closer. The air inside felt heavier, like something had been following me since I stepped into the lobby. I grabbed the keys, as usual. Everything the same on paper. But I knew I wasn't in the same place anymore. Not exactly. The night started quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that hurts. A silence that presses on your chest, like someone's holding their breath with you. Every so often, the intercom button lit up, but no sound came through. Just the light. Like someone wanted to get my attention without being heard. At 12:32 a.m., the phone rang. This time, I couldn't ignore it. My hand moved on its own, like I'd surrendered. I answered without saying a word. Silence on the other end, but not empty. A noise, like someone breathing close to the mic. Then, a whisper. "Are you alone?" The voice was thin. Maybe a woman or a child. Hard to tell. I tried to ask who it was, but nothing came out. Just the sound of the call dropping. I stared at the phone for minutes. Then I got up, looked out the window. Nothing. Empty street. Dark streetlight. But my reflection was off again. This time, it lagged behind me. I moved, and the reflection was slow to follow. I blinked. Moved slowly. The image seemed to try to imitate me, not just reflect me. When I made a quick gesture, it froze, and then it smiled. I swear on everything sacred. The reflection smiled. I didn't. It smiled on its own. I jumped back from the window, went to the entrance camera. Nothing. But I swear I heard a tap on the glass when I turned away, like someone touched it from outside. At 2:10 a.m., I had to use the bathroom. The urge was unbearable. I waited until 3:05 a.m., holding myself as long as I could. When I opened the door, the lobby hallway was darker than it should have been. The lights were on, but dim, sickly. The bathroom was simple. Gray tiles and a large mirror over the sink. I entered slowly. The silence inside was thicker, like it muffled even my thoughts. While washing my face, I looked in the mirror and saw someone behind me. I turned to look. Nothing. Looked again. Nothing. But I swear I saw it. A figure standing in the doorway. Short, thin, face covered by something dark, like a veil or shadow. I don't know. I left the bathroom nearly stumbling. Spent the rest of the night in the booth, lights off. I preferred the dark. At least then, I couldn't see anything. At shift's end, the manager showed up as usual. Same tired face, same detached tone. Did anything happen? I stayed quiet for a moment. Almost told him. Almost. But just said, no. All good. He scribbled something in the folder like always. Before leaving, he said, "If you start seeing things, don't look at them. Don't talk to them. They don't like it." That phrase stuck in my head. They don't like it. He didn't ask if I'd seen anything. Just said that, like he already knew. That's when I realized the rules weren't to keep problems away. They were to keep you from being noticed. I wasn't sure anymore what was my imagination and what was real. I even doubted the time. The clock read 2:49 a.m. when I heard the elevator again. The sound was different. Not the usual electric hum, but muffled, like cables pulling something heavy. I stood up slowly, just to check the monitor. The elevator was going down by itself. The panel counted down from 7 to 6, 5, 4, to the lobby. When it stopped, the doors slid open. Empty. But even without anyone there, the elevator seemed alive. Like it was breathing. The light inside flickered rhythmically, almost like a signal. I waited, expecting the doors to close. They didn't. They stayed open, watching me. I stepped to the elevator door but didn't cross the threshold. Just stared. The feeling was that if I stepped inside, I wouldn't come out the same place, that I wouldn't return to the same building. I closed the hall door carefully and went back to the booth, trying to forget. But I couldn't. Later, just after 4 a.m., while making a quick round, I noticed something odd. A rug folded in a corner of the second-floor hallway. It looked out of place, like someone had dragged it in a hurry. I went over to straighten it, thinking it was just mess. Under the rug was a heavy iron hatch. I'd never seen it before. It looked like a utility cover, the kind that hides pipes, but too big for that. I nudged it with my foot. It was loose. I lifted it carefully. Below was a concrete staircase going down. Pitch black. No lights. No handrail. Just a hole and the smell of old dust. That dry smell from a place sealed up for too long. I thought about going down. Just a few steps to look. But as soon as I put my foot on the first step, it felt like the whole building stopped. The air got heavier. The street noise outside vanished. Not even the monitor hum in the booth. Nothing. Just my breathing. Then voices. They weren't shouting. Whispering. Come down. It's okay. Come see what's down here. Feminine, childish, and one deep male voice, muffled like with a mouthful of dirt. I slammed the hatch shut. Put the rug back. Walked away, feeling like something was behind me. I locked the booth door and stayed there till dawn, watching the clock, waiting for the shift to end like I was trapped in a never-ending shift. The next morning, I thought about telling the manager about the stairs, but when I went back to show him, the rug was smooth, flat, clean, like no one had touched it. The hatch was gone, like it never existed. After that, nothing made sense. I spent the day trying to forget, convincing myself I was overreacting. Just tired, stressed, imagining things. But when night came and it was time to return, my body obeyed. Out of fear. Curiosity. No other choice, I don't even know. That fifth night, I walked in and felt the building had changed tone. The air was stuffier, the silence more hostile. The cameras seemed slower, like they wanted to hide something. And the chair in the booth, the same one every night, was turned facing the window. I never left it like that. I spent the night tense, hearing sounds that didn't belong. Doors knocking with no wind. Whispering with no source. Feeling something moving just outside my vision. At 2:20 a.m., the hallway light flickered. I took a flashlight and went to check. At the end of the hall, a shadow moved slowly from side to side, like someone walking without hurry. But when I shone the light, nothing was there. I went back trembling, closed the door and sat on the floor, hugging my knees, trying to breathe. That's when I realized I was starting to break inside. Not just fear. Something was pulling at me. Not physically, but mentally. Wearing me down bit by bit. I started hearing voices on the booth radio, even though it was off. Broken calls, names I didn't recognize, apartment numbers that didn't exist. A woman saying, "I'm already on the lobby," just waiting for him to come down. Like they were talking about me. Like they were waiting. At 3:43 a.m., the elevator came down again. When the doors opened, I didn't see emptiness. I saw my reflection, standing inside, staring at me. I froze. My eyes moved, and so did his. But the look he gave me wasn't mine. It was angry, or contemptuous, or hungry. The doors closed without me touching anything. After that, I just remember sitting on the booth floor, flashlight pointed at nothing, waiting for 7 a.m. Like that was the only thing keeping me sane. The next morning, the manager showed up. I didn't get up, just said, "If I want to quit, you understand?" He didn't answer, just stared, like he knew the question was coming. and like it didn't matter anyway. Before leaving that day, as I put the keys back in the booth drawer, I found a folded piece of paper I swear wasn't there before. One word written in thin, shaky handwriting. Zarathiel. No sender. No explanation. Just that. Like it was the name of the place I'd been for days, and I was only realizing it now. Or maybe where it all came from. And the strangest part? Reading it, I knew. I'd heard that name before, but I don't remember where. I didn't go back. Left the keys in the drawer, just like I found the paper. Didn't ask for a resignation. Didn't call. Didn't even come back to collect my paycheck. But sometimes, when I walk near downtown, I feel that same still air. That heavy silence. Like the building still knows my name. And the job's still open. They're still looking for someone for the night shift. If you ever come across that ad, think twice. Some jobs don't just want your time. They want you. If you enjoyed this story and want to dive deeper into the mysteries of Zarathiel, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a chilling tale. And tell me in the comments, would you take a job like this? Or do you know a story like it? I want to know what you think about those shadowy gateways hiding in everyday places. Stay alert, because in Zarathiel, danger might be closer than you think.